This is the meeting of the Lakeville Agricultural Commission here at the Library History Room. It's August 14th at 6:32 p.m. We're going to call the meeting to order. If you could state your last name and whether you are present.
Barbara, present.
Last name?
Last name? Sure.
Van Laerhoven, present.
Morton, present.
Okay, and Hunt, present.
And I'd like to introduce Megan Young,
And Megan.
who is
Hi,
interested
Megan.
in joining them.
Okay.
Thanks, Hank. Nice to
Um,
meet you.
We do have your potential membership on the agenda, so we will get to that. And I'm going to ask you, you're the only person in the gallery. Is anybody else recording this meeting tonight other than LakeCAM?
No.
Okay. The first thing on the agenda is the discussion that we had about pairing up with the veterans, the potential veterans garden in Lakeville, tying in somehow to our farmers market, tying in somehow to the food cooperative that people have asked about in the community. I've had a couple discussions since our last meeting. I did talk to Nathan Darling regarding this, and he has in the past identified several town-owned properties that may have potential to house a veterans garden. This was an endeavor that he undertook with Christine Boone at one point in time and had discussed it with the Mass Department of Agricultural Resources. One of those properties is now, I guess, under lease. The old Bridge Street side.
Oh, yeah.
There was a smaller parcel there. It looks like there's some activity and it may have been leased out. He did note a couple other properties, and he is going to get back to us as to whether or not somebody has eyed that prior to us for something in town. The suggestion from him was that it would probably best to be a town-owned property.
I think so.
So that we're not trying to lease or get permission from an individual. The state-owned property, that little small section would be fine, but when you start involving the Commonwealth, now we're talking about a little bit more of a long-term lease and things like that, But he said that he felt that the Mass Department of Agricultural Resources would be supportive of this, especially as the AgCom had tied into it. I spoke with Christine on this. Her hope is that maybe something can be done towards the fall for potential tillage, and then if we have a site that is fertile enough, maybe some type of fall plantings of things. But she knows that this is going to be a longer term endeavor. I was unable to speak to anybody officially from the Parks Department. I know early on we had discussed the possibility of doing something at Ted Williams Camp. Ted Williams seems to get busier and busier as time goes on.
I'm busy.
I think that we may have to identify someplace else, although I don't have this confirmed from them, yay or nay. I know that when we had spoken with them prior to COVID, or as COVID was approaching, they were receptive to this, but I don't know where we are today on that. I don't know now that the historic town hall has now been updated enough. They're gonna start hosting meetings and so forth there. I don't know if that parking lot is something we may be able to get access to. You know,
You know, part of the conversation before, when we were looking into Ted Williams and think that as a good area to use was because of the parking space and how accessible it was to the center of town,
Yeah.
so to speak. And then also that were we to use the old town hall, we would have to have a traffic detail.
Okay,
And so that made it a little bit prohibitive
yep,
because of cost.
yeah,
To try to do something like that. So we're looking for places where we could, you know, get off-road parking and it wasn't going to impact traffic.
okay.
So, but, you know, another spot that's more agricultural might be a good idea.
We would certainly discuss with anybody interested in coming forward and talking to us about it, any other places that might be of interest for this.
Do you think we're interested in going back to the Parks Commission to ask about Ted Williams? Or, because I could go do that, but it seems like it might not even be, there is an awful lot going on.
Yeah, there's an awful lot going on, but I think we should probably at least revisit it. If you have a contact there, it would probably be,
I don't, but I can.
okay, okay.
I can ask.
I think that would be the plan.
Thanks.
And then, you know, as far as a food co-op, I think there would be people interested in participating in that on both ends. But until we have a site for a farmer's market, I don't know that the co-op is something that needs to be discussed outside of that. And I don't know what your thoughts are on that. You know, does that make sense to?
It does make sense until we
Everybody
have a
else.
site.
Until we have a site to discuss how that
How it's gonna
would
work.
transpire.
Right.
Okay.
And do we, as a commission, need to have a conversation with the gentleman who brought this up so we have an idea of what he's thinking about in the way of a food co-op? Because it could take lots of different forms.
Yeah, I could reach out to Mr. Gregory on that. My understanding initially is that he had approached another, a farm here in town about the possibility of being involved in a co-op. And this particular farm stated that they rarely have anything surplus, that the majority of their food is sold and they don't have enough that they could donate or designate to a co-op.
Okay,
But I'll get a little more information from him.
thank you.
I can do that. I don't have any updates on the grants that I know that we had discussed at one point in time for tourism and agro-tourism. We've been hitting a number of different topics in town, and I have not hit the town administrator up to hear any more on the grants that he was looking into, but I will endeavor to move forward with that. And as we discuss the AgCom membership, I think I had a conversation with Jared Darling, who believes he is still on the AgCom, but has not been sworn. And he does not know, even if he is sworn, if he will have the opportunity to be attending any meetings. And his statement to me as recently as today was, I hope somebody new might be interested. That leads us into,
That would be you.
Member Van Lahoven had mentioned that he might have somebody that may be interested. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Megan Young. I grew up in East Bridgewater, and moved to Lakeville about 3 years ago.
Okay,
We have a little farm, I guess. We have 11 acres and a couple horses and stuff. And my partner, his family has Sandsmith Farm in East Bridgewater.
okay,
So
yeah,
get kind of involved in that.
okay.
And excited to see what I can do to help out in the community.
Okay. What you would need to do, if, you know, I'm certainly interested in having you come on, and I think the tone of the board, the commission here is to have you come aboard. You would have to write a letter to the Board of Selectmen
Okay.
that would say you're, you know, who you are and you're interested in serving on the Agricultural Commission. You have met with us, and we as a whole would welcome you. And then I will pitch that to the Board of Selectmen, who I am also a member of that board.
Okay.
And we will get you appointed as a member of the AgCom.
Awesome. Thank you
All
all
right.
so much. Appreciate
So
it.
we,
Thank you.
It's
yeah,
great.
we appreciate it very much.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, it's, you know, we had a pretty good run prior to COVID.
Yeah.
You know, we had worked very hard on the right to farm and so forth in town, and we had a good push. And then the COVID style meetings and everything else that came along with COVID kind of took the wind out of our sails,
Yeah.
and we were pretty stagnant for a while. I remained active. My job was to relocate problem roosters from Lakeville to a very receptive farm in Acushnet. So although we didn't meet, we still existed in the fact that they'd call and somebody would show up, me, and the rooster would get relocated, and, you know, I'd say it was done under the color of the AgCom, so we've been active all along, but that's been about the extent.
We have, haven't you?
Yeah, that's been about the extent of everything. You know, as you heard by our meeting so far, this is the direction that we're trying to go, is to get a little bit of a farmer's market rolling again. And, you know, we welcome anybody new with fresh ideas, and, you know, the ability to help out would be fantastic. So
Yeah.
thank you very much for your interest.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
That would move us into new business, although it's not on the agenda. I thought I had submitted it, but the right to farm sign debacle that we currently have. And so anybody watching knows that we were designated as a right to farm community. We had some issues with getting funding for the signs. We didn't know where the funding was going to come from. We were able to finally get that squared away. Joan worked with member Carboni from the select board to get the signage going. And we thought we had everything all squared away.
Oh, no.
There was a ball dropped, and I think it was me. You had identified a number of sites in town,
There were too many.
and when we had we've also been designated as a Purple Heart community, and we had a ceremony at Town Hall, and, you know, we have signage for the community for the Purple Heart as well. The thought was that we were going to tie the two in together. There was some discussion that there were going to be 10 Purple Heart signs and probably 8 right to farm signs. After Joan's push on that, come to find out, I guess the state has balked a little bit at the location of Purple Heart signs. We thought we were going to have them on state highways
Oh.
coming in, and in an email that was forwarded to me by Andrew Suitforth, the town administrator. he is meeting with Frank from the highway department over the next week or so to go over Lakeville locations for the Purple Heart and Right to Farm signs. I guess based off the DOT's response, they will not allow it in state layouts, which is most of the main entrances to Lakeville. Andrew's thoughts are similar to mine, and I think several other people in town, that it would be nice to have them together and do that. And if need be, we will have to get them going on primary, secondary roads. I don't know if that's a thing, but we will have to do that. The select board voted to have a total of 8 signs, thinking that was the thought, to cost no more than $2,000. And I think that we could.
I think we could.
I think that budget would allow a few more signs if need be.
I sent it back to the select board. Have you seen that yet? I sent it back and I said I'd like to maybe see signs where active farms in Lakeville were.
Yep.
For a few more signs, so I sent it to Chris.
Yep.
And he said he was gonna send it to the entire select board.
Yep. We did get a response that there was a push to have some of the other places that were identified
I mean,
by you
not a lot, but active farms.
as active farms. And I don't know if the intent of identifying a right to farm community is the signage at the farms, but on the main roads.
Right, but
and
it's
then-
also, I mean, it's also helpful if you're trying to take machinery over the roads and
Yeah.
people are
and
waving to you with center finger salutes and blowing their horns.
right,
I mean, it's kind of,
and
or where horses are, like at Beeland, you know.
and to that point, I think there has been some discussion of maybe some tractor crossing signs,
Yeah, tractor
And-
crossing
and
signs
so
are all right
forth.
too, yeah.
which would
That's
notify
right too,
people
to
that
watch out for
there could be
machinery.
machinery on that road, so you can't say you didn't know when it happens. And I know that you personally, Highland Road is a busy
Awful.
spot for you
It's
guys
awful.
when you're trying to hay and trying to get
Awful.
across the street. And I know that, we have a cluster of farms in the northern part of town when you start talking Southworth and Leonard
Right,
Street.
that was one of the areas I
And
identified,
things
yeah.
like that we need a little bit more notice that,
I mean, I
there's
don't
gonna be
remember
a
the street
potential
jumping up
of-
and down saying, stop because we're coming out with
Yeah.
a tractor, and nobody stops.
yeah,
They
yeah.
just don't, they just, blow right by, and it's really hot.
It's dangerous.
It's terrible.
So I think we'll wait to see what Andrew and Frank come up with on that. Certainly Highland Road could be identified, could have the signs on it. Hopefully,
I mean, I
Tom,
don't mind tractor crossing signs,
Right.
that's fine by me.
right,
great idea.
but
Or by Beeland, by Conway's.
yeah, we went through all this work to get the
We did.
right to farm signs, so I certainly would like them in areas that are a little bit more active, and I'm a bit saddened that the state is not in favor of the signage being on main
I
roads
mean,
like
that was one of the big
105
things we talked about when we were
18.
trying to decide where to put signs. You and I talked about that.
Yeah.
Is that something new? Because you go down Bridgewater Center, it's from Main Street all the way down.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
and I've noted that as well in other
Mm-hmm.
communities. I mean, I travel 105 through Rochester and
Rochester,
Acushnet all
yeah.
the time. That's a state highway.
Right? Yeah, it's
Or
not-
a state road,
Right,
and
they're not there.
you have the signage there. So I don't know if that's gonna take a little bit more of a push
Mm.
from the town to get that done, but, I don't wanna flag other communities and have them have to take their signs down. I don't wanna
Yeah,
get to that
exactly.
point, but
That's not correct.
we have an active farm on Main Street.
That's right.
That farm, there should be some signage there.
Mhm.
We have an active farm on Bedford Street
That's right.
where we,
And they move a lot of machinery on
they
Bedford
move a
Street.
lot of machinery there for that silage.
They do.
So, there should be something there as well. So, it hasn't faded away. I think there's a little bit of a speed bump in it
Mhm.
with the
So-
state, and then I brought it up at the select board meeting, and I had the number 8
You were good.
stuck,
You were very good,
stuck
yeah.
in my head. But certainly we're limited to the $2,000 on this initial
Mm-hmm.
vote. The board, we can change that.
And I'm sure the price
if
went up, because I
need.
gave you the price for the
Yep.
signs, and I'm sure they went up.
But
Everything does.
this has not died down.
Not yet.
And we won't let it die down, so,
I don't go quiet.
yeah, no, I didn't expect you would.
Could you
didn't expect
utilize
you would.
like crossroads and kind of like, say there's like the main road and then a side street and like technically put it on the side street?
I think that's probably what would have to happen.
thinking,
If
yeah.
if the state stands there, holds their ground on that, then, we would have to be, on the side roads,
Right.
on the main side roads,
Exactly.
like a Taunton Street,
Right.
a Highland Road,
Right.
Yeah.
But then when you get down to like Lakeside and 105, they're both considered
State roads.
state roads down that way. And
82 and 105.
there are still people down there, trying to keep agriculture alive. So that's where we're at right now. We're in a little bit of a holding pattern. It hasn't died. Again, Andrew and Frank are going to talk about it. The select board is 100% in favor of it. So we'll keep
Plugging away at
pushing.
it.
We'll keep pushing that one down the road. Does anybody have any other old business or new business that we need to touch on?
And I think the open space plan has gone back to MDOT,
Yep,
so we'll see. We're
okay,
just waiting to see what they want for change, but the whole thing's gone back.
okay,
I was up in Wolfboro last week, and I wound up visiting the farm up there. I didn't know if anybody would like any information, but it's a pretty exciting program they have up there.
I love this magazine.
It's
Yeah.
a great magazine.
That's a great magazine, I love it. Edible New England, yeah.
we'll hand this out to the audience too. Yep. Nice,
They've been operating for 28
That's great.
years. And of course, the farms are abundant up there.
yep,
Yes,
All kinds of farms, and it was quite a large place they had.
Mm. A lot of offerings.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so this is like New Hampshire's version of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. No, this is where I would go to buy my turnips, the nerdy turnip farm. That's great.
so a large-scale farmer's market up there that's been going for a few decades?
one day a week.
One day.
Thursday from 12 to 4.
Okay,
But it was packed.
okay.
I think if we had one, it would be packed too, honestly.
Yeah, I think,
I think it would.
at this particular market, were there other things there? Did they let, did they have, was it only food-based or
This one
was
was
there?
pretty much only food-based. I don't
Okay,
recollect seeing anything other than food.
okay,
I have kind of a list on the back. It's mainly food.
and I think Hank brings up a good point with that. If we do come up with a location, are we gonna be able to find a location that has the potential for growth, If we pick a spot that can have 5 or 6 tables, and then we have 10 tables interested,
And then the next
Then-
year
then,
it's 25.
then we're in trouble. So I think that I think we need to put some thought into that and make sure that we go someplace that there would be a potential of some
To
expansion.
expand.
Mhm.
And if
You're welcome to this information. I've gone through it all.
And if we're talking about something like up there that's going on Thursday nights, we would have to watch scheduling, especially in like Ted Williams' camp, when you start talking what, I'm sure that they have games and they have everything almost every night of the week, so then you'd have to find the lull in there that you could have something like this.
There's also some locally, you might wanna like just check the schedule so you're not competing, like Plymouth has one and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, we had discussed that before, didn't they have one at Oliver Mill at one point
They
in
did.
time?
Yeah,
They used
I-
to.
Yeah,
on weekends, yeah.
yeah,
And then it sort of moved up to the town hall lawn, but I don't think it exists anymore.
Okay.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure,
think it does.
but I don't think it does.
okay.
Yeah, they had moved up to the town hall in Middleborough.
But I think, if it's not in Edible South Shore, it's in CMAP, that they have like a calendar
Oh, cool.
that has all
A list of
the
what
seasonally
days.
has all the
Yeah,
markets in
times,
it,
yeah.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
nice.
So you can find a day that's not taken.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else we need to hit on tonight?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion seconded.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? No. None?
None.
None?
None.
Yep. All right. That concludes the AgCom meeting at 6:59. Thank you.